Okay, now we're ready to go. Do 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 boop. Boop 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 boop. Yeah, so Broken Roads is being delayed until early next year, which is kind of awkward. Because there's a lot of games I'm going to be playing coming out next year. Ah, here we are. Sometimes game capture takes a little bit to register right away. Okay. Continue. Where the hell are we? I am so sorry, Divinity. Oh, I've been pushing you off so often playing other games. And I hate doing that. I really hate doing that. Found a great mead brewery in Erie, PA. Ooh. Nice. PA is Pennsylvania, right?
Keeping it together, Bree. I'm all right as long as I don't.
I think it is because I think Pennsylvania is Pennsylvania is the only state that starts with a P. So, probably. Okay, so where we're at. Okay, we still
Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in
wrong
a
button.
vat of vinegar.
Close. Doctor's orders. Search for the doctor. Okay, that's an ARX. That's also an ARX. I won't be able to finish that. This one, I'm having issues finding, so we're probably just going to go ahead and skip that one. The possessed prisoners are held in the vaults by the power of their dead jailer priests. We read a report on a demon obliterating a child's soul during a failed exorcism. I don't know where that's at.
Never forget it.
Let's see if these are all just locations. All right, well, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and refill on source. Refill up on source, basically a power source. Do I do other any other CRPGs to recommend? Well, Baldur's Gate is one, but I'm pretty sure you already knew that. There is a couple CRPGs out there that actually caught my eye that I talked about. Do I have any other CRPGs to recommend? Okay, so coming up right now, Sovereign Syndicate is in January. Had fun with that one. It's basically sort of that one is sort of like a cyberpunk-esque. There's currently an early access Edge of War, which we might try out, maybe on like a Tuesday or something. Maybe when we finish this game up. And then Colony Ship. That one currently has a demo, so you can go try that one out for yourselves if you still wish. But I will definitely be trying that one out as soon as trying the demo out, at least as soon as we finish up with Divinity, because I've been putting Divinity off far too much. Oh, somebody's fire alarm went off. Turned it off. Hopefully I don't have to exit out of here, because that'll be sad. Oh, hello. And I could take his source. Or I could just do this. Alright, so basically I'm getting back up my source, getting up to max, then heading out. For those of you who are new to the channel or new to this game, I do apologize. You're basically jumping into a spot where it's we're deep. We're 60 hours. 60 hours, right? 60 hours. Yeah, roughly 60 hours into this game. So, essentially, to summarize things, is we are selected by a group of gods to essentially represent them and try and become what is called divine, which is a human demigod. But right now, somebody's trying to beat us to the punch, and we're kind of in a rush to do all that.
Aren't you supposed to be off learning how to become the divine and whatnot?
Yes. I have learned what I set out to learn, and you know the way to the Nameless Isle.
Well, aren't you industrious? It seems all the riffraff's back aboard as well. Ready to set sail when you are, Your Holiness.
Choose to leave the area after this message. You will not be able to return again. Your open quest will be closed and archived. Hold on. I'm going to double check with every... Oh, wait, actually, no. Now we're fine. Now we're fine. I think. Now, this game takes a lot of strategy.
So, ready to set sail when you are, Your Holiness.
All right, we're ready to go.
Fantastic. Now, on to the interesting part.
After many adventures, the party finally reached the place where Godwoken go to become divine. But more surprises and difficult choices awaited.
Essentially, this game is filled with deep lore, deep mechanics, a lot of consequences.
Here we are, the Nameless Isle. And here I thought Malady was unimaginative. Still, it's what's on the inside that counts, isn't that right? And this is the place you're meant to become a god. I can't help but wonder exactly what you intend to do with such a power.
I'll do what needs to be done for the good of the realm.
I have no doubt about that, but do remember, you can do what's good for you, too. All things in balance, you know. You'll want to hurry now. Divinity is waiting, after all.
What should I expect on the island?
Excellent question. Normally, this place ought only to be known to Godwoken, but judging by the ships burning in the bay, there's been a breach, let's call it.
Great. Yeah, I kind of expected so.
Regardless of who's on the island, all that matters is who ascends. Make sure that's you. The strongest will survive and ascend.
Ask her about this wellspring your god mentioned.
I'm hardly an expert on the matter, but I'm smart enough to put two and two together. Where there is an ocean of source, there is a well for drawing from it. To rise to divinity, you probably need to take a gulp. Though I'm sure it won't be that simple.
Ah.
The squirrel guides its cat over to you, chittering as it goes. It reaches up and hands you a piece of bark. The wood is covered in a scratchy, scrawled handwriting. It's hard to read, but you can just about make out the recipe for a spell.
Oh. Neat.
Gareth greets you warmly. He's oddly chipper. More chipper than you've ever seen him, and certainly more chipper than most people mourning dead loved ones.
I should thank you. I don't know what came over me. Praise Lucian, I had you to put me on the right track.
Now for your condolences. Been through a lot.
I'm grateful for your kindness. I needed time to think. My parents led good lives. I'd rather celebrate them for the love they gave me than to wail over their loss.
Good man.
Besides, we have work to do. Once we anchor at the Nameless Isle, I'll scout ahead, see if I can help locate the council and ease the way. I'll report to you on what I find.
Question is wisdom. That might not be the best idea.
Nonsense. I just had to take time to renew my spirit. Lucian said, I will refresh the tired and satisfy the weary. Words as true today as when he said them.
Gareth offers his farewell and hums to himself. You recognize the tune, Blessed and Bold, a hymn praising Lucian.
Pray speak.
I can sense the raw powers of the source rippling through the air. The island yonder. It is doom or destiny.
Ask him what's on his mind.
Naught but the demon I'm hunting. A trivial task, really, compared to your current pursuits of divinity.
Yeah. Takes
She's
a
a
moment.
beautiful enigma, isn't she? All elven grace, and her own evil twin to boot. Yet she defies good and evil in a particularly charming, therefore particularly perilous way. I hope to hear her whole story someday. I'm certain it'll be quite the tale.
Jahan takes you by the arm, his voice a whisper.
By the by, do please remember the warning I gave you in the woods. Should Losa come close to divine ascension, you must act. You must kill her.
I am not killing my
Losa
girl.
looks pale and unfocused. She doesn't meet your eyes.
Ask if she's all right.
Yes.
Don't you know her better than that? Is she struggling with the demon?
Oh, no.
Losa looks pale and unfocused.
Yes. Okay.
What's on your mind, darling?
Darling. That's okay. Ask her if she thinks she'd make for a good goddess.
The very best.
She cocks her head ever so slightly, and eyes you as innocently as a kitten.
Why? Don't tell me you disagree.
Smile and say you most certainly wouldn't. Sybil the Magnificent. He'd be more popular than Lucian ever was.
Thank you. I quite agree, and I'm sure I'll have mercy on you when I'm a goddess. You, but a mortal at my feet. In all seriousness, though, the prospect both tickles and terrifies me. I mean, divinity. Will it be a blessing or a burden? Would we be truly omnipotent, or merely the servants of an unruly universe, as desperate for control as we are now? And then there's the question that makes me shiver most of all. Would we still be ourselves? Would I remain Sybil, or would my mortal soul die upon gaining divine immortality?
Tell her if you've asked yourself the same question. All we can do is try and see.
Take the plunge and don't look back, huh? As good a plan as any, I presume.
She sighs and closes her eyes, then smiles her easy smile.
Such a silly game we play, to be a god. It's quite wasted on mortals, if you ask me. We are all of us too blemished to become immaculate.
One second, chat. Okay. And our next move?
I think you know the answer to that. First, I'll find the Master. He has a date with a needle. Whatever comes after that, comes after that.
They've long wondered how it all actually worked, the Master and the Scar.
And I remember saying I'd probably never tell you. Then again, why not? I suppose some stories were always meant to be told. So, here goes. No, hang on.
She retrieves a small flask from her backpack, uncorks it, and takes a big swig. Tears stream from her eyes as she offers you the flowers.
They're tears of joy, I assure you. Here, have some joy.
You
Accept.
drink. It burns. Soon the tears run down your cheeks as well.
Not bad, is it? So good it has us crying like babies. Now then, the epic of The Master and the Scar. Sounds like a melodramatic opera. There was, of course, some singing involved. It began when I woke in the dark room. He removed my blindfold, and still I did not see. He himself was darker than any shadow. But I could hear him give orders to another. Stingtail. How he came to regret the actions he performed that day. The Master bid the dream a dream, and so he did. He sat there. I could feel his hands upon my cheeks. He trembled, as if in pain. I didn't know what was going on until quite suddenly, his right hand became a flame. I screamed as he traced the design of the scar into my searing flesh, but I could not move, not an inch. And all the while the Master looked on in darkest silence.
Shake your head and say you had no idea such horror came with her scarring.
Oh, like all good things in life, one has to experience these things firsthand.
So, once the scarring was over and the pain began to fade, the training began. With words, whistles, snaps of the fingers even, the master could make me obey his every command. Young, strong, smart. You know I don't exactly lack in qualities. Didn't take him long to train me in the arts of stealth, subterfuge, and assassination. It shakes me little now, all too little. But that first time, that first real kill, it was such stuff as nightmares are made on. I had now lived in the dark for what might as well have been years. I was in a wood, but the trees there were sick. Grey, leafless hydras sticking out of ashen earth. There were no stars that night. She sat, shivering beside a fire. I was nervous. I had to chase her. My hand hated itself, tried to resist, but there is no resisting the master's song. My stabs weren't as mercifully exact as they should have been. I had to bring down the needle again and again as her screams flooded the forest with terror. When it was done, I crawled back to the master, broken, crept back into the box, and through its cold black lid, he told me I had done well. Next time, I'd do better.
Master and the Scar. It's an epic that deserves to be unwritten.
You understand me completely. With the needle, I'll kill him. And with the needle, I'll strike his name from my skin. The bastard will be master no longer.
What's on your mind? Surely it's obvious. Ascension awaits. Once we manage to gain access to the actual Well of Ascension.
Now, there is a lot of this, a lot of dialogue and talking, but we will get into the thick of things. The combat, I really love. The story is fantastic. The combat, amazing.
That is not to say I'm not
A little
dying
slow, but
to have a word with the House of Shadows.
I'll ask about the message he received before he left the island.
It's most intriguing. A message from the House of Shadows. The ones who so fruitlessly sent assassins after my good self.
Oh, what will you do if you meet the one who sent it?
Well, first, I will hear the man out. If he can lead me to Sadher, well, I can spare my ears a moment or two for that. Besides, only polite, I always say, to hear a man out before beheading him.
Say that, were I a lizard, I wonder what house of the ancient empire I'd belong to.
What house? Ah, a peculiar query. But very well, I'm no stranger to parlor games. Let's see. From what I gather, you've a certain mystical quality about you. A penchant for the surreal and the visionary. There can be no doubt that would place you in the much revered House of Dreams.
Sounds about right.
Don't get your hopes up. We don't adopt.
I've plenty of fighters for hire. Oh, I see you.
Do what you must at this place, sorcerer. I don't want to linger a moment longer than necessary.
Tread carefully, my dear. Those are black ring banners that I spy on the shore.
Oh dear.
I studied the tablet that you so generously provided. It showed me everything I need to know about creating a functional Swornbreaker. Once I have that, I'll be free of the Covenant. And free to spend the rest of my days with Mahaly. See those structures further inland? Remarkably like those from the caverns of the Black Pits, aren't they? Should you discover the parts needed for a Swornbreaker, please bring them to me. I'll make it worth your while. Also, You will likely encounter sworn followers of the God King on that island, I suspect. I would avoid combat if possible. Death can be less than final for them, if the God King wills it.
Some advice then.
Almira doesn't respond right away. Instead, she turns and gazes intently at the island. After a long moment, she finally speaks.
I sense a familiar presence. The Sallow Man. Yes. He's there somewhere. Likely commanding Black Ring forces. You should seek him out. He's a foul creature, but not opposed to cutting a deal. Beware his underlings, though. If they challenge your presence, pose as a thrall of mine, and you should gain safe passage. My name should still command respect among them.
Gotcha.
Quite a journey I've found myself on with you. Is this where it ends, I wonder?
Oh, well, it seems rife with dangers. Might be able to offer any advice.
Dangers indeed. You can almost hear the sounds of battle when the wind shifts correctly. And where there's battle, there's bound to be mercenaries. Gleku Duma, the words of the lone wolves. No doubt my former comrades will have them in their employ. Speak their words, and you might pass. Speak their words, and you might pass. Consider it a token of my thanks for the assistance in retrieving anathema.
I'm gonna have to try and remember that. I'm not sure if I'll be able to, but we'll see. What do you mean by former?
Pursuit of my interests has led me to fall in with some disreputable company in my time. For a short while, one such group was the Black Ring. I know, not something to be proud of, but they let me do as I wished, so desperate they were for aid after the death fog cut them down to size. A fine arrangement, until they started preaching about this God King and his infernal covenant.
He snorts derisively.
The last thing this world needs is another would-be god, and an army of fools willing to follow him.
Okay, what is the Covenant?
It's a sop to all the fools who think that someone will grant them power and immortality in return for loyalty. This God King has caused to make war with the Seven, and the Covenant is how he's gathered his army. They become sworn, as it was put to me, bound to serve, die, and be reborn for the God King for as long as he wishes. Then at some ill-defined point in the future, they think they'll be rewarded. You should have seen them all, on their knees worshipping a new tyrant just to spite 7 old ones. I got away from them while I still could. Unfortunately, Dallas was waiting to snatch me.
You're a liar through and through. Demand to know why. You shouldn't just gut him right now.
You know why. A time is coming when you're going to need me, and I won't be much use to you if I'm performing self-surgery, will I? Besides, it doesn't matter if you don't let it matter. Black Ring, Divine Order, all labels try to define who we are. As soon as a skin is of no more use to me, I shed it. You ought to try it sometime, Godwoken.
What do you know about the God King?
There's a clue in the name. He's a god, or something that wants to be a god. Continue to march to the Seven's beat, and I'm sure you'll find out exactly what he is. They're all the same, you know. Tyrants, liars, carrion birds. The best thing would be for them all to destroy each other and leave the rest of us to live in peace.
With progress.
My efforts continue. I must admit it's quite an intricate piece to work with, even for someone like myself. I remain confident of success, though.
Have you heard anything called the Ateran?
Try as he might, Tarquin cannot hide a small flash of surprise.
Where did you hear that precisely? Never mind. The Ateran is a children's fable, nothing more. Supposedly a wand with an infinite capacity for source? Pure nonsense, I assure you.
The Magisters seem to believe that the Ateran is real. They've been looking for it, in fact.
Really? Well, perhaps that says more about the caliber of their intellect than anything else. Such a device would be a gross overconcentration of power. It could purge the entire world of all source. Luckily, the laws of the universe render such a thing impossible.
What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Oh, ew. Doesn't have that much great. Doesn't have.